right, let's check out these G to D transitions now. This is a really common kind of chord transition from the open G to the open D. And there's a lot of cool transitions you can use in between those two chords, or when you're transitioning between the G and the D chord. And the first one we're going to look at here is kind of a classic chromatic run that I first learned from Norman Blake. So basically, if we're in the key of G, or if we're playing in the G position, you could play this capoed up too, but just in this lesson, we're going to just do it with no capo here. All right, so we're just going to establish kind of a nice strumming pattern here. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so basically what we're doing there is we're playing a downstroke on that low E 3rd fret. And then we're going to play another downstroke on kind of the remaining portion of that G major chord. So we're kind of taking these strings and we're kind of splitting them in half lengthwise. And we're going to strum that first strum on the upper half and then that second strum on the lower half. And that way you're kind of differentiating the way you're strumming. You're not necessarily just strumming the entire chord open. You're adding a little bit of nuance to your strumming. But in the middle there, you'll see I have a double 3rd fret low E in between. Right, so we play that first chord pattern, and then we come back to that 3rd fret low E, and we do a down up, followed by a downstroke on the remaining portion of the chord like we did before. And then we're going to go into our transition run, right? So those three together are going to sound like this. Okay, and then after that third downstroke there, we're going to go into our kind of Norman Blake style chromatic run. And it's going to start on an open A, and then it's going to go to 2nd fret A, 3rd fret A, and 4th fret A. So that's where it's chromatic, right? So chromatic is every fret. And then we're going to land on the open D note, right? And we're going to continue that strumming pattern over the D chord. Right, and you can see there that timing is very important here because we're playing a 4-note run going into the second measure, right? So we're going to make sure that we hit that open A at the right time. Right, and that open D string is going to be the first note of the second measure here. Okay, and then we look at that second measure now. We're playing over a D major chord, and we're going to hit that open D coming out of that chromatic run, right? And then we're going to kind of do the same thing where we're playing downstrokes, right? We're playing the open bass note, which is the open D in this case, and then we're playing a downstroke on the D chord. So you can see there, that's just a basic D major chord. That's 2nd fret G to 3rd fret B to 2nd fret high E. And then what we're going to do differently here is we're going to do alternating bass over this D major chord, right? So we're going to hit this chromatic run, land on the D, and then we're going to hit an open A. And that's the alternating bass right there. Is when you're playing over a D major chord, your alternating bass notes are going to be the D and the A. And you're just going to alternate between those two notes in between each downstroke of the chord, right? So we're going to go D, downstroke, A, downstroke. And in this case, what I did is instead of doing the double stroke like we did in the G chord, we're going to do the double stroke the first time. All right, so we're going to do that double stroke over that D major chord. Okay, let's play measures 1 and 2 now to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's look at another variation of this kind of chromatic transition lick here. And we're going to keep the strumming pattern the same. So we're going to kind of, keep it consistent here and just focus on this transitional lick. And what we're going to do here, instead of playing a kind of a straight chromatic run, we're going to start with a little bit of a slide up. And then we're going to do the remainder of what would be the chromatic run. So we're going to go to that open A to 2nd fret to 3rd fret. And then we're going to hit the open D. So we're leaving out that 4th fret A that we had in the first chromatic run that we looked at. Right, so it's kind of a similar feel. It's kind of a, has a similar effect of kind of sounding like a chromatic run, except we're adding in that half step. So it's just a different variation on kind of that classic Norman Blake chromatic run. You'll notice that all of these runs that we're looking at today are going to end, or they're going to sort of conclude on that D string. Because in measure number 2, we're going to the D chord, right? So we're gonna bring that run into the D string. Okay, so let's play this chromatic run to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's look at this third variation now of this transitional lick. And we're going to use the same slide up, so the 1st fret to 2nd fret A. And then we're going to go back to that A just like we did in the first 2 variations. And then this time we're going to do 2nd fret A to open A, and then to that open D. And again, the timing is important here, so you'll notice that last downstroke on that G chord, your 1st fret A is going to come in on a 16th note. Okay, so let's play this transition variation now to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's take a look at another transition example here. And in this one, we're kind of starting out the same way with the slide up from the 1st to the 2nd fret A. And this time we're going to introduce an open D. So we're going to hit that open D, and then 2nd fret A to open. And then 2nd fret A to open. land on that open D again. So we're kind of emphasizing the open D note on this one. Okay, so let's play this run now to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's take a look at one last transition example here. And this one is nearly identical to the one before. So the fourth one, this is the fifth one. And the only difference here is that instead of there going from 2nd fret A to open A, we're going to go open A to 2nd fret A. All right, so the first one was, and this one is, and the difference is subtle, but there's definitely a difference in the sound and in the, the feel that you get out of those two licks. Okay, so let's play this variation now to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4.